become addicted to yourself and watch reality change. Carl Jung. Intro. There comes a moment in life when exhaustion becomes impossible to ignore. Not physical exhaustion, psychological exhaustion. The kind that comes from constantly adjusting yourself for other people, trying to be loved, trying to be accepted, trying to be understood. You analyze every conversation. You replay every mistake. You obsess over what people think of you. And somewhere along the way, you lose yourself. Most people believe the answer is to disconnect from the world, to withdraw, to isolate. But that isn't the solution. The real solution is far more radical. You must become addicted to yourself, not in the narcissistic sense, not in the shallow, self-obsessed way modern culture promotes, but in a deeper psychological sense. You must become so fascinated by your own growth, your own mind, and your own evolution that external validation loses its grip on you. Carl Jung believed that every human being possesses an untapped source of psychological power, a force hidden beneath conditioning, beneath social expectations, beneath fear. Most people never find it, because finding it requires a brutal sacrifice. You must stop living for the audience and begin living for the architect within. Today, we are going to explore the dangerous psychology behind becoming psychologically untouchable and why the moment you stop chasing the world begins chasing you. The trap of external validation. Look closely at your life. How much of your emotional state depends on someone else? A text message arrives. You feel relief. Someone ignores you. Your anxiety explodes. The compliment boosts your confidence. The criticism destroys your mood. Without realizing it, most people spend their entire lives emotionally outsourced. Their happiness belongs to other people. Their confidence belongs to other people. Their identity belongs to other people. Jung saw this as a form of psychological dependency, a dangerous fusion between your sense of self and the external world. You become addicted to approval, addicted to attention, addicted to validation, and every addiction comes with a price. The more you need something from others, the more power they hold over you. This is why rejection feels devastating. It isn't just rejection. It feels like survival itself is being threatened, because your emotional foundation has been built on someone else's approval, and foundations built on other people always collapse. The power of psychological gravity. Have you ever met someone who commands respect without demanding it? Someone who walks into a room and immediately captures attention. It isn't their appearance. It isn't their status. It isn't their wealth. It's their psychological gravity. Most people spend their energy moving outward, seeking, pleasing, performing, convincing. They become scattered, predictable, but powerful people do the opposite. Their energy moves inward. Their attention belongs to themselves. Their focus remains concentrated, and concentration creates density. Density creates gravity. Gravity creates influence. The more deeply rooted you become within yourself, the less affected you are by external chaos. You stop reacting. You start directing. You stop chasing. You start attracting. Not because you're manipulating people, but because you're no longer dependent on them. And nothing is more attractive than genuine independence. The shadow most people fear. But becoming obsessed with yourself doesn't mean admiring only your strengths. That would be easy. The real transformation begins when you become fascinated by your darkness. Carl Jung called this darkness the shadow. The shadow contains everything you refuse to acknowledge. Your jealousy, your selfishness, your rage, your insecurity, your hunger for power, your hidden ambitions. Since childhood, you've been taught to suppress these qualities, to hide them, to deny them, to pretend they don't exist. But Jung discovered something terrifying. What you suppress does not disappear. It simply goes underground. and from there, it controls your life. The anger you deny becomes passive aggression. The fear you deny becomes anxiety. The insecurity you deny becomes arrogance. The shadow always finds a way to express itself. The question is whether you control it or it controls you. Why self-knowledge creates power. Most people run from uncomfortable emotions. The moment jealousy appears, they suppress it. The moment anger emerges, they deny it. The moment fear surfaces, they distract themselves. But growth requires curiosity, not avoidance. Imagine examining your emotions like a scientist. You feel jealous. Instead of judging yourself, investigate it. Why does this trigger exist? What insecurity is being exposed? What desire is hidden beneath it? You feel anger. Don't suppress it. Study it. Where does it come from? What boundary has been violated? What truth is demanding attention? Every emotion contains information. Every reaction contains a lesson. And every shadow contains power waiting to be integrated. The people who become psychologically unstoppable are not those who eliminate their darkness. They are the ones who understand it. Reclaiming your energy. Jung spoke of psychic energy, the force behind attention, motivation, and desire. Most people leak this energy constantly. They give it to toxic relationships. They give it to social media. They give it to old wounds. They give it to people who barely think about them. And then they wonder why they feel exhausted. Imagine carrying a bucket full of holes. No matter how much water you pour in, it never stays full. That is exactly how most people live. The solution is not acquiring more energy. The solution is stopping the leaks. Every time you obsess over someone who left, you lose energy. Every time you replay an insult, you lose energy. Every time you seek validation, you lose energy. Reclaim it. Pull your attention back. Protect it. Guard it. Because attention is your most valuable asset. Where attention goes, life follows. The moment everything changes, something strange happens when you stop chasing validation. People notice, not because you are trying harder, but because you're trying less. When your happiness no longer depends on approval, you become unpredictable, and unpredictability creates intrigue. The people who ignored you become curious. The people who took you for granted become confused. The people who manipulated you lose their leverage because they can no longer control your emotional state. You have become self-sustaining, a complete psychological ecosystem, and the world responds differently to complete people. The lesson of Carl Jung. Carl Jung learned this lesson through immense personal suffering. At one point, he was considered the future of psychoanalysis. Sigmund Freud saw him as his successor. His career was secure. His reputation was rising. His future seemed guaranteed. Then everything changed. Jung began developing ideas that conflicted with Freud's worldview. He faced a choice: remain loyal and keep his status, or follow his own truth. He chose truth. The cost was devastating. He lost allies. He lost support. He lost certainty. He lost belonging. And for a time, he felt completely alone. But it was precisely that isolation that transformed him. Without external approval, he was forced inward. Without validation, he discovered authenticity. Without guidance, he discovered himself. And this is the same challenge facing every person. Eventually, you must decide, will you belong to the crowd, or will you belong to yourself? The final transformation. There is one final realization. The people you obsess over often represent parts of yourself that remain undeveloped. You admire their confidence because you haven't developed your own. You admire their discipline because you lack it. You admire their courage because you are avoiding yours. What you see in others is often hidden within yourself. The moment you realize this, everything changes. You stop chasing people. You start building qualities. You stop worshipping idols. You start becoming one. You stop searching for completion. You create it. And this is the ultimate psychological freedom. Not needing anyone to complete your story. Because you have become the author. How? Through. The moment you become addicted to your own evolution, reality begins to shift. Not because the world changes, but because you do. You stop begging for attention. You stop seeking approval. You stop outsourcing your work. And as your attention returns to its rightful owner, something extraordinary happens. Your confidence becomes internal. Your power becomes stable. Your identity becomes unshakable. You become the architect of your own mind. And once that happens, there is no going back. Because the most powerful person in the room is never the loudest, never the richest, never the most admired. It is the person who no longer needs anything from anyone. The person who has mastered their own shadow. The person who has reclaimed their energy. The person who has finally become addicted to becoming more of themselves. And that person would be you.